All right, our last speaker this evening is NWAC's own program director, Charlotte Gard. Charlotte's been with NWAC since the fall of 2016. In her role as the program director, she oversees NWAC's education and outreach efforts in the membership and donation programs. Charlotte's going to give us a quick run through tonight on some updates and highlights from the nonprofit staff for this upcoming season. Welcome, Charlotte.
Thanks, Scott. Let me pull things up here. You'd think we'd be really good at this by now. All right.
Looking good on my end.
Great, thank you. Yeah, thanks, Scott. I am here tonight to take just a few minutes to talk through some of the things that we have in progress this year and ways that you can be involved or maybe already are involved with NWAC. Dennis D'Amico, NWAC's forecast director, spoke on Wednesday of last week about a lot of the things happening with the forecast as well as forecasting staff. So I won't dive in too far there, but we'll speak a little bit to expand on that as well as some of the education and outreach programs that we have in progress. One thing that I had in mind as I was putting together this presentation is just how different the attendees of the Snow and Avalanche workshop might look from some of the other presentations we give. And it differs in a few different ways, but one of them is that this is an extremely experienced group of users. So we send out a survey at the end of every NSAW that we've been running for the last 10 plus years. And just to gain some kind of stats around the people that are attending the various SAWs. So keeping that in mind after this Snow and Avalanche workshop. But one thing we know is that the people attending the Snow and Avalanche workshop are a super experienced group of people. Over 65% of attendees have been traveling in the backcountry for over 5 years. And of those, 18% for over 25 years. So a non-trivial amount of cumulative years on this Zoom webinar right now. And of those, over 90% of people have taken a level 1 or higher, and over 25% are professionals. So a group of people that uses our forecast every day, maybe checks the weather station data many times a day. And another fun fact about the folks that are on this call tonight is that the vast majority are members of NWAC. Of the 465 people who had purchased a ticket when I built this presentation, 316 were NWAC members. So that's over 72% of people attending NSAW are members of NWAC. So it's pretty fun when putting together a presentation around the programs and the things we have going on this year, because you all on this call are the folks that are supporting it, and it makes up about 10% of our membership base generally. The first thing to keep in mind is that our members support our mountain weather and avalanche products, the thing that you use and rely on throughout the winter. So as dedicated users checking the forecast, you are also supporting it. A few highlights for what our members and various supporting contributors put out is our website generally. The website and the observation platform that rolled out last year is 100% supported by our members and individual donors. You also support our team of observers as well as maintenance of our weather stations. The photo in the upper left corner is Andy Harrington, one of our forecasters who was out a couple weeks ago at the Timberline station doing some work to get that weather station up and running for the season. And because we all were in a really strong place as we start the season with a lot of well-functioning weather stations. And you also support our snowmobile program and advocating for our local government. So a lot of things that help make everything happen. In addition, we have an increasing staff capacity this year. Dennis spoke to the two new forecasters, Katie Warren in the upper left and Lee Lazara in the center. bottom there. Lee will be forecasting for the north-west zone, and Katie forecasting for the central and east-south zone. We have a couple more Katies on our staff this year. Katie Wicks in the lower left is our membership coordinator. So for the 72% of you on this call, Katie will be reaching out around membership. And Katie Smith is our education coordinator and doing a lot to keep our education programs running this year. And finally, Tina Shields in the upper right is our snowmobile outreach coordinator. So for the snowmobilers on this call, Tina is working to ensure that we have staff representation on your club rides this year. That's all exciting. And then some of the other programs that we have continuing or starting this year, Trailhead Outreach, a really popular program to put volunteers and NWAC 10s at the various trailheads across Washington and Oregon, and reach all of the people heading into those like very popular trailheads and ensure that they're familiar with the NWAC tools. We are also running awareness courses all virtually at the moment. Last season, over 11,000 people signed up to take an introductory level awareness course. So there are a lot of people that are looking for information and trying to learn more about how they can get into the backcountry. So we've expanded that tool set to include the backcountry basics, which is an introductory use at will resource guide that we put a lot of effort into growing this upcoming season. It just really gives people a basic level of information about what they need to know in order to start recreating in the backcountry. And is a really good place to start for all the people you all know who are just interested in getting out there. At NWAC, we run our programs through the lens of unmet needs. And so we run kind of unique program sets to address what we consider to be unmet needs. For the past few years, we focused on professional programming for women. I spoke on this last year, and that can be seen in our YouTube channel. We are also looking at youth education and the unique ways that young people learn, as well as programs to address communities of color and how we can lower barriers to entry for those folks looking to get into the backcountry. And we're also thinking about programming that address the different ways that different types of users interact with terrain. So programs for snowmobilers might look different than programs for snowshoers. So just all ways that we can kind of look at our different user groups and think about how they learn differently. And you can follow along with all of the progress and programs and outreach that we have going on with NWAC through our Backcountry Bulletin. As members, you're automatically signed up, but you can opt in or out or ensure that you're taking a look at those. They come out weekly on Fridays and include announcements like this one, but also updates on the snowpack and weather forecast when we start forecasting. And a lot more. You can learn more about all of the programs we have in play on our website and our annual report for the last season. And we'll drop a link in the chat for that program. But we welcome your questions and your input for programs at NWAC.
Thank you, Charlotte. It's a great overview of everything, which there's a lot that's changing this year. I don't see any questions, and I know it's getting pretty late. It's a little bit after 8. So yeah, thanks a lot for presenting, and thanks a lot to everyone who has attended tonight. I'm going to share my screen really quick. There we go. And yeah, I'd also like to thank, we have 8 staff right now that are currently working behind the scenes. We've got a few of our forecasters and a few of our office staff that are driving the technology and helping field questions and making all of NSAW run smoothly. So I'd like to really just give a round of applause to you all behind the scenes to make NSAW what it is. And with that, that wraps up our second night of a 3-part NSAW. And just a quick reminder that you'll have access to the NSAW sweepstakes until Thursday, October 21st. And once again, we'd like to thank BCA for supporting tonight's NSAW session. And then, of course, another thanks to all of our other additional partners and sponsors for supporting NWAC. And we hope to see you all again this Wednesday, October 20th at 6 p.m. for the final evening of NSAW. So thanks again, and have a great night. We'll see you all later.